How you doing there, everybody? It's John here again, and we are 5 minutes north of Campbell River on the Gold River Highway. That's Route 28 north or west. West? Yeah, west. Anyway, it's the road to Gold River, and we are just at the top of what locals call General Hill, and this is Elk Falls Provincial Park. It is one of the most iconic destinations hikes as far as Campbell River goes, and it's a little bit soggy, but it's mostly under the trees anyway. And like we say out here in the North Island, if you're waiting for a good day, we might be waiting for a while. So let's get on our tilly hats and our woolly sweaters. It's time to go hiking. This is Elk Falls Provincial Park map. We've got you are here. We're heading down that way towards right about there. That's where the falls is, and that's where we're going. This is the parking lot. There's accessible toilets, nice big parking lot. This is just for the hike. And, you know, some picnic tables. There's a little visitor center. This is a BC Hydro sponsored site too, so it's got a beautifully manicured trail. The only thing I will say from an accessibility standpoint, there are stairs. It does get a little muddy when it's raining and whatnot, but the trails are pretty well groomed, so expect stairs and a little bit of mud, but other than that, you're on your way. All right, so here we are carrying on down the trail. There was a couple of things I was going to mention. There have been cougar sightings in the area, so make sure you're keeping your dogs and your kids handy. It's unlikely that you'll ever come into contact with one. If you do, count yourself lucky, to be honest. But this is just the trail, and it's basically slightly along the parking lot. This is all second growth timber. Beautiful spot, even in the rain. So if it is a little rainy when you're here, this is a good place to come for a little bit of a hike, or a sunny day. It's even better. All right, we're just here on the trail, and I was going to show you something. You see this stuff? This is broom. Now, this is an invasive species. It is absolutely everywhere on the island, and it was never supposed to be here. But a long time ago, a guy from Scotland who lived in Victoria missed his home, and he decided to bring this rotten stuff here. These little pods here blow apart, and little seeds go everywhere. Now, from one end of the island to the other, we all got this invasive species broom choking out all kinds of stuff. So if you're wondering why people get upset at this stuff, even though it's quite pretty, it's got pretty little yellow flowers and everything, well, it was never meant to be here, and that's a real problem. Just thought I'd point that out, but you know, there's people trying to get rid of it, but nature has a way, don't it? I just thought I'd do a little update here so you can check out. There's a bunch of information on Elk Falls and BC Hydro's hydroelectric plans. They have been doing a lot of work on this trail here. It used to be you had to kind of drop down into the gully and back up on the other side, so they're making it a lot more friendly for, you know, people with mobility challenges to get out here too, which is typical for BC Hydro. They do their best. So it's going to be really awesome when they're done, I'm sure, because they're definitely going to a lot of trouble here. So I'll keep you posted. So we're here at the juncture. We are going that way towards the falls and the suspension bridge. There's also a trail going this way, which takes you further down the canyon towards where the Campbell River is and all that kind of stuff. I think at the moment this trail is closed off further down because they're doing some work on it. So we'll be heading this way. And you can already hear the falls, can't you? Unbelievable. Look at the size of some of these trees, man. Like, how cool is that? Look at that baby. This place is full of huge trees. You're going to be surprised. I can't wait to show it to you. We'll get back to you in a second here. So here we are. We're at the fork in the road. We're going down to the right. which will take you to the falls. What I wanted to point out too is just over here, you can see all the skunk cabbage are just starting to come into bloom. Those are those big yellow flowers. One of the things that bears eat when they come out of their hibernation. You can hear the falls. But look how beautiful this place is. And still, look how good, and the trail is wonderful as well. So it's very well groomed. Our local Rotary did a tremendous job fixing this place up and making it so you could actually see this side of the falls. So you don't actually have to go all the way down in, which we're going to do, and I'll show you where that is. But from accessibility standpoint, you can walk right to here, and you see that right there is the very edge of the falls. There's a lot of water coming through there right now because of the season, and they're opening up the dam. So we'll get down there and see if we can get you a bit better of a view. Okay, we're just getting to the point where we have to start walking down some stairs. But worth noting is the size of these trees. Look at that, eh? That is a big old tree. Now these right here are where the stairs start to go down. And you can go down to the observation platform. Just down over here, we're heading that way. That's where the suspension bridge is. So I'll just take you down there a little bit. This was a project that the Rotary took on a little while ago. And they did just an amazing thing here. I mean, honestly, look at this. Like, these are just so well constructed, nice and solid. And they give you the kind of view of the falls that you would have never gotten before. Because it is fairly steep. All right, here we are at the falls. Over on the other side, if you can hear me, right there is the old observation platform. That's where you used to stand to see the falls. And we are on the complete opposite side of here now. That's a lot of water coming over the falls. It's normally in the summer, probably when you're going to see it, it won't be as extreme. But this is why people love it here so much. All right, I just stepped back a little bit from where we just were, right over there, to show you the suspension bridge. This is a nice view of it here. It'll give you an idea where we're crossing. How cool is that? I'll be there in a second. All right, well, here we are at the suspension bridge. If you got kids, they'll love this. Try not to freak everybody out and bounce too much. But how's that for a view of the falls? Look at that. I know people love the summer, but you know what? Any time of the year is a good time of the year for here. All right, here is the other side of the bridge. You can see where the river is. A few trees. That's the suspension bridge there. And that's where the platform is. Something worth mentioning, which I'll probably repeat myself. You see all that moss on those rocks? Even in the summer, it is very, very slippery. So when they say don't venture too close to the falls, that'd be why. But look at this place, huh? All right, so we're back up to the fork and we are going to head to the left. You notice in here, there's what looks like snow. That was actually some hail that came through the other day. Most people just go down and they check out the suspension bridge and the falls. But there are some very interesting things to see around here. Case in point. Not just moss grows on trees. Look at the fern. It's an absolutely beautiful walk down this way. And I'm going to show you some other things that are available here at Elk Falls Park. Okay, something that you'll notice along the trail and around BC, you see how that's all burnt out in there? All the way in that tree? That is from a lightning strike. Quite often in BC, your forest fires are caused by lightning strikes. Not just careless campers like you might have been told. I was a remote access forest firefighter for 5 years when I was in my 20s. And most of my job, as you know, they would drop us off in the bush and we'd find the fire, but they were 99% lightning strike. That's primarily what our job was. So just so you're aware, something to look out for. All right, so we've got the other side. You can get a good view of the waterfall here, just from, you can see off in the mist there, you can see the suspension bridge. Some picnic area. It's got garbage cans. It's got some toilets available, pit toilets. Nice spot to sit if you're having a picnic and you just want to enjoy the nature. Great big cedars there too. All right, so like I was saying, here's another burnt out tree. You can see it better. It's right next to the trail here. All of that was burned straight down. So the lightning hits the top of the tree and follows it all the way down and blows it apart. It's really interesting. This is heading down towards where the old observation deck was. This is on the other side of the falls that I was showing you from the other observation deck. It's a bit steeper, definitely a little muddier, not as accessible. But you can hear the falls, eh? It's coming up here on the left. But I'll get there in a second and I'll show you. All right, well, here we are. This is the old way. You know, it's a little muddy, less looked after. Still pretty cool though. You can see a really great view. That old tree sitting there, that's been there longer than I've been alive. Just so we're completely clear, I am old. So it's been a while. Way up there, you can see the observation deck from the other side. Very dangerous to go down close to the falls. Do not do it unless you're a crazy person, and there's plenty of those. Don't be one of them. All right, well, we carried down along the river on the trails, and it's a really nice place to go for a walk. But one of the things that we used to do when we were kids is grab an old pair of running shoes and come swimming. There's rocks to jump off of and all kinds of stuff, and there's a bigger lake a little further on. So I'll get up there, but I'll show you the first place that I used to like to come swimming. We'll be there shortly. Okay, well, here is one of the favorite spots we used to come swimming. Now, the trail's right over there. You gotta watch your step. The rocks are a little bit slick. And right over there are some of the rocks we used to like to jump off of. This time of year, there's a lot more water coming through there, so you got to be careful, of course. But we used to like to jump off those rocks. It's fairly deep right under there. If you're down here in the summer, you'll probably see kids jumping off there just like we used to do, and their kids someday down the road will probably be doing the same dang thing. I'll see if I can get a better view if I crawl around the other side here. All right, so we were just over there, so I went around on the trail, and there's a little more direct route. But that's the rocks. It's not usually as intense as it is currently, but there's a bit of a shelf down there that you can see you can climb back out on. The only thing is you gotta cross those rocks. Usually they're visible when we were here in the summers. Currently I wouldn't try it. I wouldn't take money to try it, to be honest. But a really nice little spot. I knew a couple of crazy guys who used to jump right there out of the trees and land in the water. They're probably dead by now, I'm assuming, but you never know. They might have survived. Or they could be still floating down there somewhere. I don't know. So here we are, a little further along the trail, and there's a ton of water coming through here right now. And this lake is usually a little less frothy, I guess. Now, those rocks over there, when I was younger, that's where all the cool kids used to hang out and smoke cigarettes and drink beer, right? And what we used to like to do is we'd jump in right over here, swim all the way across, and then right up here off of this rock, right there, down below it is a pool, but it's a fairly tight pool. And to prove that, you know, you were a man or whatever the heck we were doing, we used to jump and land in the pool. It was kind of a big deal. Further up, towards where the dam is, there's another kind of lake pocket there, and we used to jump off rocks over there too. Now, we used to swim across generally because, you know, we were trying to be cool. If you weren't too keen on swimming across, though, you can kind of pick your way along the shoreline. I'm definitely not doing it today because I will definitely fall in the water. But you can sort of walk along there. There's more water in the pond than there usually is. But it's very cold water, if you're wondering. But still, What a cool place to spend the day, just jumping in the water and having fun with your friends. I just love it up here. Unbelievable. This is, I mean, it's surprising for me, but probably not for you, just how much water is coming through right now. It's been raining like crazy, and I'm sure it's high up there up here where the dam is. You know, there's a lot of water, so they have to release a lot. If they're going to do it in the summer, usually they sound an alarm long before just to make sure everybody gets out of the way, because when they open up those gates, I mean, the water rises fairly rapidly. You wouldn't want to be halfway across the lake when it happened. So I'll head back up and we'll go back up to the trail. One thing about this side is it'll take you back up to the old parking lot, but you gotta walk uphill over these switchbacks. I used to hate this part because, you know, you've been running and acting crazy for several hours, doing some swimming. Me and my friend Joey, man, we used to come here all the time, exhaust ourselves, and then drag our butts back up to the car up there. Oh man, that was a hard walk. Good times though. There's some sword fern, a little seedling growing out of the side of that tree. These are cedar trees if you're interested. And this fella with the heavy, heavy bark, that's a Douglas fir. You see how, that's my hand, so you can get you an idea how thick the bark is on this thing. Super hardy tree. And of course, cedar, if you know anything about the First Nations people, you know, they made everything out of cedar. It was pretty much what allowed them to thrive out here on the West Coast, was just their ability and ingenuity with the cedar trees. Definitely interesting. If you go and check out the Campbell River Museum, they'll tell you all about that sort of stuff. I'll maybe do a video of where that is so you get an idea. It's worth checking out. Really interesting. If you're a bit of a geology nerd as well, I know I am, look at the strata and all of this clay. That'll give you an idea of just how much erosion's gone into this place. And keep in mind, that's where the water is now. This is up here. This is all carved out. Well, we actually cut this out, but it'll give you an idea how far down everything went. Pretty neat, eh? I knew a girl who was going to try and make a pot out of this stuff, but I don't think you can. I don't advise it either, because it is a provincial park. They don't like you taking stuff out of provincial parks, but we were young. What the heck? Wonder if she ever made it. I don't know. If you know who I'm talking about and you're out there and you made a pot out of clay from Elk Falls, let me know. Well, this used to be the old parking lot, which they've completely changed. They're calling it a restoration area, which is nice. Seeing as they got all the new stuff and everything. Actually, I take that back. I think the parking lot, the old one's just up a little farther. But we're not going that way. We are heading this way, which is back towards the parking lot we're parked in. All right, so there you go. What do you say? Elk Falls, eh? Beautiful spot, and regardless of what the weather is, just make sure, like I say, bring something waterproof and you got no worries. And if it's a nice day and you need to cool off, there's good spots to swim as well. Make sure you bring an old pair of runners though, because walking around on the rocks is a little treacherous if you don't. But, like I say, here on the North Island, there's an adventure for everybody. Come on down, we'd love to have you, and see you soon.